You're watching Truth Talk News.
Some guy named John Lloyd works for Reuters. Now, Reuters is a Rothschild operation. Has been for 100 years. This guy, John Lloyd, is writing a constant and frequent complaint about journalism is that it concentrates almost exclusively on what is happening now, not in the future. Why didn't journalists see the financial crash coming? Oh, this is all fun. It's unbelievable. Like right in your face, they're telling you that well, of course, because the insiders knew everything, and they're just putting it in your face, and now they're saying the journalists should have been interested in this and doing this and all of this. Well, why didn't they know that there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? Why didn't they warn about Enron's House of Cards? Why didn't they do more in advance on the climate changes that caused Hurricane Sandy? First of all, this guy is a global warming proponent. Again, he's a Rothschild's minion. You have to understand how this works. So John Lloyd is just another one of them. You know, you have to pay the tax to the Rothschild, carbon tax to the Rothschild Bank. Again, this is the things he wishes to imply or put in. Is a short list of critical issues that the journalists in general should be doing, because he believes that journalism should be of the future, not of the present. So they shouldn't be worried about these things. They should be worried about what's going to happen in the future. So forget about what's going on now, that there's all of this rampant tyranny and crime and evil intent, a world government being set up. Worry about the future and global warming. Ecological dangers is at the top of the list, Mr. John Lloyd's list, especially global warming, demographic issues where some populations are shrinking and aging, others are growing fast, weapons of mass destruction, nuclear, chemical, biological, and the greater damage. All of these things, well, of course, you know, the truth people, the people that are seeking truth, are trying to expose this, but this is, again, controlled opposition. Rapidly spreading pandemics for which there is no cure. Well, why don't we talk about that? All these different things, especially books like Emerging Viruses, AIDS, and Ebola, written by my friend Dr. Len Horowitz. Terrorism and how it's developing, water, food, and energy shortages. I mean, it's just like unbelievable. The things he's saying. Let's talk about all of these great talking points, all of them. Accelerating speed of change and the problems administrations and institutions experience and adapting to it. It's all Agenda 21 protocol to the letter, ladies and gentlemen. So exposing that. Again, time is short because I used to be able to do an hour show, and now I'm limited to 15 minutes, so that's good. It gives me concise truth, so I can get this out to you in a concise way in the future. John Lloyd, I'm sorry, the co-founder of Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism at Oxford. Okay, says enough, doesn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Or it should, and if it doesn't, bah, bah. Let's hear the sheep. There we go. Yeah, that's for the sheeple. When you hear the sheep, you know the sheeple are nesting, sleeping, waiting, listening, obeying, not thinking, not acting, and certainly not living. They're slaves. And the worst kind of servitude is those people that believe that they're free. Susan Sarandon sent me an email on behalf of ACLU regarding the Zero Dark 30 movie. Now, I was happy. I mean, she's like, you know, she's, I guess, somewhat awake. I mean, I don't know. I still don't know about her. But anyway, she's asking the Senate the Intelligence Committee to release its report on CIA torture. Now, we know that torture is a horrible thing, and this is sort of one of the things that we discuss here on Truth Talk News, and We Are Change Connecticut is, again, active in exposing the truth, and anybody that is in Connecticut, by the way, should, that wants to get active in their community and spread this truth and information. And, you know, we're doing a great efforts here. We got Senator Markley getting the fluoride taken out of the water. We have Senate Bill 131, which has been introduced into the Senate. We'll see what happens. We're still going to have to work on that, getting more exposure about it, the fact that fluoride is poison and it should be removed from the water supply everywhere. That causes all sorts of problems, both bone cancer and other very, very insidious long-term illnesses, all sorts of problems. Not to mention, of course, you have the dental fluorosis, which is bizarre, but a typical New World Order. They give you something that helps you, but it does the exact opposite. Anyway, so this Susan Sarandon sent this email about the torture prisoners being, torturing the prisoners, providing more information. And, of course, now this movie sort of glamorizes the torture. Well, I'm glad that she's aware that we do have a certain problem here with the glamorization of violence, torture, murder, sadism, sex. There's a reason for that. That's all part of the New World Order, bringing down the society, the morality, killing God, killing morality, putting boundaries on things. Like abortion's not really a problem. That's the right to, that's a woman's right. She has a right. They twist and turn the truth.
They feed us evil and misdeeds, stories of corruption, wickedness, and we embrace them and live them and eat our popcorn.
Soldiers and police in America take an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. But now, of course, there is a study that's recently published by the West Point Combating Terrorism Center entitled Challenges from the Sidelines, the Understanding America's Violent Far Right. Again, now we're being considered far right. I'm a libertarian. It's like, that's just death. They consider that right wing. I don't know why. Just to have people that want to go back to a constitutional government are now being called extremists. But they've been doing this to us for a long time, and they'll find some crazy people that they can utilize to say that they're really extremists or neo-Nazis or whatever, but not, again, it's all part of the COINTELPRO. Challenges from the Sidelines, Understanding America's Violent Far Right. Ari Perlinger, the author of the study, his name is Ari Perliger, Perliger, attempts to present a picture of America infested with dangerous right-wing domestic terrorists lurking in the shadows and waiting to launch an attack on government establishments, agents, and minorities. Okay, it's just out of control. Again, these people are just out of control. So this is one of the studies. This is what they're doing. Perliger, who is the director of terrorism studies at West Point Combating Terrorism, now says that anybody that's like any of us, that we have like a don't tread on me flag, means we're a Tea Party person. I'm not a Tea Party person. I'm a liberty person. I'm not part of any organization. I'm just about individual liberty, God-given inalienable rights, constitutional values, truths. That's it. Anything else is bullshit. And you heard it here on Truth Talk News. All right, moving forward, we have some more information regarding the fact that we have this war is peace philosophy going on once again. So Obama now has said that the decade of war is ending. President Barack Obama, I can't call him president, Barack Obama says that a decade of war is now ending and economic recovery has begun. America's possibilities are limitless, the president said in his inaugural address. He said, "We will seize this moment if we seize it together." And Obama said, "America can't succeed when only a few at the top do well and a growing many can barely make it. The country's prosperity must rest on a rising middle class," he said. Obama spoke after taking the public oath Monday for his second term. That is actually a news report. Can you believe that? I mean, my son could have wrote that when he was in 5th grade, and he's going into 9th grade. Okay, so that said, Al-Qaeda, again, created by Zbigniew Brzezinski in 1979 with the CIA, he's from the Council on Foreign Relations, devised a alternative, or I should say an opposition, to the Soviets. Now, this is a very critical point in history, where they created something known as Al-Qaeda. So now there's still, of course, Al-Qaeda is the threat now, the all-consuming threat that they create the problem again and then offer the solution. So Al-Qaeda is again threatening interests in Africa. Yes, of course, Al-Qaeda, created by Zbigniew Brzezinski and the CIA in 1979, are at it again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the truth. Yes, that's right. They were created by the CIA in 1979 as an opposition to the Soviets in Afghanistan. Interestingly enough, we're still in Afghanistan. All these places all play pivotal roles. I show clips of famous politicians and other people talking about these different areas and different times of history. They've been working on this for a long time, controlling the oil interests and the corporate interests and the banking interests that are necessary for the New World Order to emerge.
We have a lot of huge problems. We have the nuclear problem in Korea. We have the nuclear problem in Iran. We have, of course, the whole array of problems, each of which, Afghanistan, and so forth. But then we have the financial issues. But they really are issues of the construction of a new world order. That's what this is about.
Now, Leon Panetta has now said that he's fighting Al-Qaeda after 3 Americans were killed in Algeria during that occupation of that factory. 34 other hostages were dead, and Al-Qaeda is committed to creating terror no matter where its members are located. Okay, now, I'm telling you, this is all horse shit. Al-Qaeda is a creation of the CIA and a creation of Zbigniew Brzezinski of the CFR. It happened, it's on record, and these relationships continued up into and past 9/11. They've been playing this facade, this charade of looking for Osama bin Laden. The whole world's looking for him, and then CNN finds him, but nobody else can in their secret place. It's like a soap opera that they turn into reality that really costs lives and millions and billions of dollars and wipes out economies and destroys people.
UN Agenda 21, bailouts, sellouts, Lehman Brothers, Goldman Sachs, false flag, terror attacks, Bill Gates, Henry Kissinger, New World Order, mind control, Bank of America, stealing homes with cut and paste mortgage loans, police, state, taser guns, FEMA camps, Mandarin, Monsanto rules the food supply while Big Pharma dopes your mind, prison system, profiteers, foundations, fund the fears, fund the evil through the years, the world's not as it appears. CIA smuggles drugs while Wachovia and Wells Fargo launder them, then give the proceeds to the owners of the Federal Reserve Bank. Now the IRS takes money out of every single check. Money created out of thin air and leave you with debt. They want to make you a serf, a slave to their demand. They want to take your life in every way they can. Fluoride, GMO, vaccines, chemtrails, United Nations genocide. The world they show us is not real. This is how they kill and steal. Rothschild, Bundy, Rockefeller, Club of Rome. On the Georgia Guidestones is written in stone. Cut through the matrix.
And on nights like this one,
do not be
we can say to those families who have lost loved ones to Al-Qaeda's terror,
liberty and
justice has been done.
The lethality of their power is greater than ever. Their capacity to impose control over the politically awakened masses of the world is at a historical low. And in earlier times, it was easier to control a million people than physically to kill a million people. Today, it is infinitely easier to kill a million people than to control a million people.
Something has gotten lost. That something is the truth. What is it in us that seeks the truth? Is it our minds? Or is it our hearts?